Dr. Miles and his wife, Ruth Monroe. Good man. Let's go. Woo! What are you? What are you? How do eagles fly? Is that all? How do eagles fly? Let me hear the eagles clap their hands one more time. Wow. It's good to be here tonight with the most exciting group of people in South Africa right now. This is it. We bring you greetings from the beautiful islands of the Bahamas. And if you become a diamond, you can come to the Bahamas. It's a joy for us to be here tonight to celebrate with you on this annual convention, to be a part of the excitement and the tremendous spirit of accomplishment that is prevailing in this air. With me on my left, but she's my right-hand woman, is the most fantastic, beautiful, awesome, exquisite woman in the world. She is the essence of the quintessence of what love is. And we've been married now for 17 years. She's my first wife. And the last one. And the last one. She is the mother of the beautiful 2 children I've been blessed with on the planet. And we are so happy to be a part of the spirit of the eagle. We appreciate the work and the relationship that has been developed with your leaders, especially Brother Charlie and Alta and all the others who are working with you, Brother Ralph and all those who are part of the, should I use the word, the steering of this great ship that's on the way to unlimited potential. It's a joy to be here. Give a great hand to my lovely wife, Ruth.
Good evening. It is really a joy to be here with you and to see so many of good eagles together, how God created us. Amen? You know, I was looking in one of your packets, and I really saw what God wanted. I really saw how God wanted us to be. It's here in this room. It's in what you are doing. You know, for so long in the world, we grew up with men running things, and they had a wife, but they did not appreciate the support of the really fantastic, beautiful, awesome, exquisite being that God gave him. You know, God made man first. But even though God made man first, he was incomplete. And then God made woman to complete his first creation, and we are to support, and we are to appreciate, stand beside, help to motivate, and we are everything that he needs to do what God has given him to do. We are the helpmeet that God has given you. And I see the foundation of the church. The church is built of families. When God can get the families in working together, we can do great exploits for the kingdom of God and do great damage to the kingdom of Satan. Amen? So I encourage you to do even more of what you're doing now and to soar like eagles to greater heights and do things that are beyond your imagination, because God said, if you can imagine it, I can do beyond what you can imagine. Amen? God bless you.
Are you ready? This is Saturday Night Live. I was looking forward to being with you for the past 5 months. I've been traveling all over the world. We just returned from the beautiful nation of Argentina and Brazil. We were a few weeks ago in the Ivory Coast. Of course, every time we travel, we meet thousands of people in large auditoriums just like this to share principles to help them become the best they can be. But tonight, I want to deal with something that I believe is going to cause you to never become a procrastinator again. I want to talk to you for a few moments tonight and address you on the topic, 7 keys for maximizing your potential. 7 necessary keys for maximizing your potential. And once again, it's a real privilege to be here with you in this great celebration of the Eagle team. And many of you who have watched our programs on television here in South Africa or Zambia or wherever you pick it up in Swaziland, I know that many of you have been introduced just a little to our organization. But we have a tremendous passion to help people all over the world. Our television programs are seen by between 700 million people to 800 million people. And because of that, we have hundreds of thousands of people writing us and communicating with our office. And one of the things I recognize about most of the letters is that people want to be the best they can be, even if they are not in the environment where that could happen immediately. There's a desire to be the best you can be. But I want to begin with a statement I hope you will never forget. The wealthiest spot on this planet is not the gold mines of South America. It is not the oil fields of Iraq or Iran or Kuwait. The wealthiest spot on this planet is not the diamond mines of your great country, South Africa. But the wealthiest spot on this planet is actually not too far from your house. As a matter of fact, you might have passed that spot on your way to this auditorium. And that spot is the cemetery. Now you may ask, why is the cemetery the wealthiest spot on this planet? Why is the graveyard the treasure chest of the earth? The answer is simple, because buried in the cemetery are dreams that were never fulfilled. In the cemetery are books that were never written, ideas that died as ideas. The cemetery is filled with visions that never became reality. The graveyard is filled with all kinds of business ideas and investment ideas that never became manifested. The cemetery is filled with paintings that were never painted. It is filled with all kinds of awesome inventions that people died just thinking about. And my greatest fear tonight, as I walk the streets of the world, is that people just like you are potentially capable of adding to the wealth of the cemetery. But I don't believe you're going to let that happen. I believe that the dream you have, the cemetery will not get. The books and the businesses and the great investments that you want to make will not go to the cemetery. Is that right, Eagles? I want you to say something with me. I will die empty. In other words, when you go to the cemetery, make sure there's nothing left for you to do. And if you promise yourself tonight that from this place you will walk out of here saying, the graveyard will never get the dream I carry, I want you to give yourself a big hand clap for that kind of commitment. Yes. Now, what do you call the wealth that is in the cemetery? That particular treasure in the cemetery is actually called potential. What is potential? Potential is untapped power, dormant ability, unused strength. That's potential. Potential is buried treasure, unused success. Potential is all you can be, but you haven't become yet. Potential is who you really are, but nobody knows it yet. Potential is how far you can really go in this business, but you haven't gone yet. But potential is always what you could be, but you haven't become yet. That is why potential is never what you've done. Once you've done it, it ceases to be your potential. Your potential is not what you've accomplished, it's what you could accomplish, but you haven't accomplished yet. And that is why it's very important for you as an individual to never be satisfied with what you've done. The greatest enemy of progress is your last success. When you become satisfied with what you've accomplished, you've endangered what you could accomplish. That is why when you become a direct or when you become a ruby, you should never be so excited about it that you forget there's a diamond waiting to be accomplished. Never be impressed by your last accomplishment. Let that motivate you for the next one. Why? Because potential is never what you've done. It's always what you have yet to do and you haven't done yet. And that is what you don't want to take to the cemetery. Inside of you is awesome treasure that needs to be released in this planet, and no one can do it except you. So I challenge you tonight to not allow your potential to become the treasure of the cemetery. But most of the people on this planet die never knowing who they really were. I was in England not too long ago visiting a cemetery of an old church. It was about 200 years old, and as I walked through the cemetery as an artist, I have about 3 degrees, and one of them is in art. And I love old artwork, and I wanted to go to this old church to see the carvings, and they talked about the tremendous architecture in this church, and I went to visit this church outside of London. And as I walked in the cemetery, there were hundreds of little graves with beautiful carved tombstones. As I walked to the tombstones, I saw the dates on the tombstones: 1865, 1516, 1792. I mean, just old tombstones. And I was deeply impressed. And while I was looking at these tombstones, I heard a thought in my mind. And the thought said, many of these people arrived on earth, but they never showed up. I went back to my hotel room, and I pondered that thought for about 2 hours, because it was such a deep thought. I wanted to capture the essence of what it really meant. And as I thought about it, suddenly my eyes were open and I understood the statement. Many people arrive on planet Earth, but very few show up. And finally I understood that it meant that everybody who was alive and is alive, they arrive. But they don't really manifest their true selves. They don't really become who they were born to be. You see, most people are born with the idea that they cannot become what they dream. You see, everybody in this room was born an original, but most of us die copies. You were not born to be like anybody. You were created to be yourself, and yourself is so unique that nobody could imitate you. And I am here to tell you that you must not allow life to just be lived by being employed, but you must deploy yourself. Therefore, tonight, the challenge is, will you go to the cemetery and never show up? I am here to invite you to join me to die empty. When you leave the planet, please allow people to know who you were. Turn to your neighbor and say this to them right now. Don't die until you show up. Most of us in this room are actually victims of our environment. We have become what our mother wants us to be, or our father wants us to be, or our systems in our social structure want us to be. We've become victims of our society and our culture. We have literally lived out other people's dreams or opinions about us. But tonight, I want you to declare independence from other people's opinions of you. I want you to decide that I will become what I am dreaming, and it will happen before I die, and the world will know that I was here. Leave your feet prints in the sands of history. Don't just exist to make a living. That's why this business is so awesome, because this business is ran on the principle that you are not to be employed, but to be deployed. Oh, come on, clap your hands if you're going to clap. Yes, sir. This business is not involved in management of people. This business is on a higher level of business. It's involved in the development of people. Companies in this city and in your country where you're from, they specialize in management of people. So they suppress people, they oppress people, they cause people to be molded by their concept. But Eagle Team organization is designed along the lines of not management of people, but the releasing of people's full potential. And that is why in this company, when you join the company, they expect you to take responsibility for your own destiny. They do not work for you, they work with you to work for yourself. They don't monitor your movements. They expect you to become your own monitor, because you are the source and the spirit of your own development. That is the spirit of development in human interaction. Potential, therefore, resides in everybody. Now, what is this spirit of potential? Potential was actually created by the creator of all things and placed in everything. Everything that God created has in it everything it was designed to be. That is called potential. Beside me on this podium are beautiful flowers, and thank God they're real. And as I look at these flowers, each one is the product of a seed. Now, as I speak to corporate organizations and civic groups and educational institutions, as I travel around the world to counsel government leaders, I am amazed that people miss the simple things in life, such as a seed. I take the Bible as my foundation for belief, and in the first chapter of the Bible, in verse 11 and 12, a statement is made by the Creator. And here's what it says: the seed of everything is in itself. It's a powerful statement, and it's repeated 3 times. The seed of everything is in itself. What that means is everything that God created, everything, has in it everything it was designed to be. Therefore, God put in everything its destiny. That includes you. So if I have in my hand tonight an apple seed, and I ask you, what do I have? You would logically answer, an apple seed. But in reality, that is not the truth. What you're telling me is a fact. The fact is I have a seed, but the truth is I don't. What I do have in my hand is an apple tree. What is a fact? A fact is a description of the present state of things. The truth is the reality of its destiny. So a fact is always the present state. And right now, some of you factually are just entering the business. That's a fact. But the truth is, you are a diamond hidden in a beginner. Some of you are simply rubies. But really, that's a fact. The truth is, inside of you is a diamond. So the next time someone says to you, what are you? Ask them, do you want the facts or the truth? Woo! Yes! Tell your neighbor, I'm on my way. Come on, just tell her. Come on, say it with conviction. I am on my way. That's right. You know, every diamond begins as a piece of wood. You know that. You're in the land of diamonds. Diamonds are products of crystalline compounds that are compressed against porous material that are worth nothing in the beginning. But under pressure and time, and under the compression and the fusion of pressure of life, a diamond comes out of worthless junk. Tell your neighbor, you ain't seen nothing yet. Tell your neighbor, I am enjoying the pressure because I'm on my way to become a diamond. Tell your neighbor, pressure is good. I'm on my way. Go ahead, clap your hands. It's true. You're on your way. Now I have in my hand an apple seed, and the truth is I have a tree. But that's not the real truth, because that's not the way God created things. Matter of fact, you are more than anyone could ever imagine. Because in this seed in my hand is a tree, but the tree that is in the seed also has fruit. And the fruit that is on the tree that is in the seed in my hand also has seeds. And those seeds that are in the fruit that is on the tree that is in the seed that's in my hand, they also have trees with fruit. And those fruit got trees that have seeds that have fruit that have trees that have trees that have fruit 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 that have seeds. What I have in my hand is a forest. Now, God, who created you, said he created everything with that principle. Everything that it needs is in itself. So in every tree, God put a forest. In every bird, God hid a flock. In every cow, God hid a herd. In every fish, God put a school. In every boy, God trapped a great man. And in every girl is hidden a great woman. Now that's the way God thinks. So when God gives you a seed to you, you haven't seen anything yet, because God has placed in everything the potential that he gave it birth to fulfill. Therefore, whatever your dreams are, they are indications of your purpose. The purpose for a seed is to produce a tree and a forest. So the forest is in the seed. That's why God doesn't create trees anymore. He doesn't create birds anymore. He's finished. That's why God is not worried about your success. You are a finished product that was born to start. And what do we call that awesome gift inside? That's called potential. One of the greatest tragedies in life is to watch potential die untapped. But there's a greater tragedy, and that is to watch potential live unreleased. How sad it is for me to have to admit that the majority of the people on this planet, 5.8 billion of us here today, the majority will die never really knowing who they really were, while others will settle for only a portion of their true self. I am here to challenge you to not allow that to happen to you. Only a select few will make the decision, and you've been among those few who have decided to maximize every fiber of your life. That's why you are not satisfied with your job. You have decided that you are going to fully use all your gifts, right? And your talents, and your abilities, and your capabilities. You have decided that you are going to be all you can be. That is called maximum living. And each one of us here tonight has the opportunity to pursue maximum living. The question is, will we choose to exercise that option? Some of you are going to make it as far as a certain level in this company, and you're going to become distracted. You're going to be discouraged. You're going to find yourself maybe having a change in life. Maybe a baby dies or something goes wrong, and that life will press in on you, and you will decide to become much in our generation. But most of us rather, are challenged to become the maximum we can be because of our environment in which we live. In every society, there are traditions and norms and social expectations. There are pressures and customs and value systems that impact and shape and mold and suppress and even control and in some cases oppress our natural gifts. They try to steal our talents and bury our capabilities and destroy the potential of the members of every society. But this process starts even from the beginning of our lives. In our own homes, sometimes, as a newborn baby, we receive subtle messages of community expectations from our parents, from our siblings, and even other family members. In many cases, these messages stifle and even limit a child's awesome potential. Some of you sitting in this room are struggling with opinions that were put in your mind by your family, by your parents. As a matter of fact, they are wondering why you are in Eagle Team. Some of you are at the verge right now of this business. And your greatest opponents are your friends. And your families are saying, why are you going to leave that secure job to go into your own business? And your answer should be, because I'm tired of being a pigeon, I want to be an eagle. You see, pigeons flock, but eagles, you meet them one at a time. They fly by themselves. That's why this room is only big enough for eagles like yourself. People who look at you as if you're crazy, they are pigeons. You have decided to step out and to become your own designer of your own destiny. It takes an eagle to think that way. To fly up here, the air is thin. You don't meet too many of us at this level. That's why whenever you meet another eagle, you've got to be at a high altitude. Go ahead, clap your hand. That's why you're here. Inside of every one of you, there's potential. And that potential is screaming for release, as it is in the soul of every human. And everyone that entered this planet has the same dream and passion to become what they are feeling in their hearts. Every individual is a living treasure chest. Each person arrives like a brand new product from the manufacturer, equipped to perform on you and those around you by the Creator. This is the reason why the natural instinct to dream existed in you as a child. Dreams are really visual manifestations of the seed created. Has that same principle, which means inside of you there's something you were born to do that is so awesome that only God knows the truth about it. And I've come to tell you that this business is a perfect environment for you to develop and release that dream, because this business allows you to become yourself. Now, what do we call this preoccupation with ideas and imaginations in our youth? This is evidence that we were created with the capacity and the ability to conceive visions and aspirations and dreams so that we can extend beyond our present situation. I believe one of the most powerful gifts a human has ever been given by its creator is the power gift of imagination. Everything that you have was given to you by your creator, including the ability to imagine. Now, why did he give you imagination? Imagination was given to you so that you can explore the impossibilities for the possibilities. In other words, imagination is the ability to leave the present, go into the future that you desire, take a tour of it, come back, and make a decision to go there. And what I want you to challenge yourself to do tonight is to take a tour at the boat, the yacht, the ship that you own. Visit the house, the mansion, the palace that is yours. Walk through the manufacturing plant that you own, that provides substance and economic stability for families. Take a look at the position you hold in government because of your clout and your position in the community, that they can't ignore you as an example of inspiring people to be the best. Dream a little bit. And then when you finish, come back to the Eagle Center. Sit in your chair and say, that's where I'm going. It's impossible to go where you don't know. It's impossible to hit what you don't aim at. It's impossible to arrive at a destination that you don't know. So use the God-given gift of imagination. You see, it was Jesus Christ, the greatest manifestation of man himself, the awesome specimen man. He made this statement: unless you become like a little child, you cannot live in my kingdom. For many years, I had a problem with that statement because I saw myself walking around in a diaper, you know, with a bottle in my mouth or something at 40 years old. And I said, he's got to be crazy. But then I understood the principle of his statement. What he was saying is, the problem with you adults is you're too adult. Because the younger you are, the more you dream. Children dream big. And they believe their dreams. And the older they grow, life minimizes their dreaming, destroys their capacity to dream. As a matter of fact, most people are poor the older they grow because they cease dreaming. I am here to challenge you tonight to become like a child again. Dream big and then believe your dream. Be like a child again. Stop saying, I'm going to die on this job and get my pension. Pension are not for eagles. No, pension are for people without dreams. You were never born to live on a salary. Environment called Eden, which means the moment of God. And God told that one man something that is so much like this company. First, God told him, be fruitful. God never said, be seedful. Why? Because God provides the seed. You are a seed in the planet. His command, first command, is be fruitful, which means bring out of the seed what's trapped on the inside. Be creative. Be cultivated. Develop yourself. Maximize your gifts. Bring out what I hid inside of you. Expose your true potential. Maximize yourself. Be fruitful. Everybody say, be fruitful. Come on, say it loud. I want to hear 5,000 voices. Come on. Be fruitful. The second statement is multiply. That's your downline. After you develop your gift, then he says, multiply yourself. In the Garden of Eden, there were no supervisors. Come on, talk to me. There was no boss. There was no manager. He was by himself, and he had to be fruitful. You determine the quality of your future. Then multiply. You must take yourself and reproduce yourself. And thirdly, it says, and replenish. Replenish means to take what you multiply and to spread it out so far that you duplicate yourself not only in your own community, but in another state and in another country and in my country too. I'm surprised that none of the diamonds offered me to buy a product yet. Replenish yourself. And the last statement is have dominion. Dominate the market. You are supposed to be dominating your territory. The neighborhood is supposed to belong to you in team spirit. The Eagle team is supposed to be all over your country, all over your city, all over your community, all over your neighborhood. Everyone in your neighborhood is supposed to be in your upline and your down. Dominate the territory. And when you so do, fulfill the desire of your Creator. The difficulty is Adam had nobody to encourage him. He had no manager to check if he came to work. He had no one to follow up on his investments. He didn't have anyone to tell him it was time to call a meeting. Everything had to be done from an internal motivation. Why? Because that's the way God intended you to live. You were never designed to live by a punch clock. You were never designed to be told what to do, how much to do, and how long to do it. You were designed to maximize yourself, motivated by your own internal passion and vision, to see yourself become all you were born to be. This is the desire of your Creator. This command embodies a principle that captures the spirit of maximizing oneself. It implies that the average adult, through the process of growth and development, have lost the free-spirited, open-minded, inquisitive nature of dreaming and daring and believing like a child. Children are inhibited in what they dream, and then they tell you about it. Some of you are really guilty of killing your children's dreams. Your child comes to you and tells you, I want to be the president of the country one day. And your response is, shut up and settle down. Stop daydreaming. Be like your daddy. What are you, nothing? No, God dares you to explore and the visions in your heart. As a matter of fact, we are trained mentally and spiritually to fear our dreams and to doubt our own destiny. We are trained to be discouraged in believing that our passion for greatness is abnormal and our aspirations are suspect. The minute you start dreaming bigger than your work colleagues, they don't like you anymore. Isn't it amazing that people who don't want to go anywhere want you to go with them? Misery likes company. Don't keep company with it. And so we have a counter-development process that is in our society that actually goes contrary to our dreams. And the majority of the earth's population live under the spell and the power of this opposition that produces fear. Fear is the source of 90% of the lack of people's progress in life. People are afraid to believe their dreams. Many experts in the field of human behavior have actually stated that the fear of failure and the fear of success are the two most powerful and most prevalent fears in the world. Now that sounds strange. I can understand the fear of failure, but they say also the fear of success is a debilitating power in the world. People are afraid to succeed. Now you wonder why. The answer is simple. Because people are afraid to step out in their dreams, because if they succeed, they feel that they will lose their families, their contacts, their relationships. Because when you become successful, people envy you. They become jealous. It's better to try and fail than to never try and never know you could have succeeded. I challenge you today to remember this, that if you don't do anything, people will criticize you. And if you do something, they'll criticize you. So do something anyhow. The great king, politician, Solomon wrote these words almost 4,000 years ago. He says, fear of man will prove to be a snare and a trap. And whoever trusts in the Creator, the manufacturer, the Lord God, will be kept safe from this fear. You see, no one knows a product like the manufacturer. That's why you should suspect everyone else's opinion of you. Don't ever believe the social analysis of your ability. Don't ever accept the opinions of your educators in your country. No one knows you because they didn't create you. Only the manufacturer knows how far you can go in life. And so his statement on your ability is the only that you must agree with. I am here to tell you that when we believe the opinions of men of our abilities and their perceptions and opinions and impressions of us, they imprison us with those opinions and they trap us by their own limitations, and we cannot maximize our potential. Ann Landers, many of you have read her columns. And Ann Landers says that she received 10,000 letters each month from people all over the world. And nearly all of these letters are from people burdened with problems. One interviewer asked Ann Landers, what type of problem is predominant in all of her letters? Her answer was fear. People are living under great fear. Fear of losing their home, their loved ones, their marriage, their children. People live in fear of losing their job. And so they never really live life to its fullest because they're trapped by the insecurity of fear. They never attempt their dreams because they fear failure. Others fail to strive for their aspirations because they fear success and the responsibility and accountability that success brings. Therefore, the potential that is trapped within many human beings walking around as treasure houses is suffocated and buried and suppressed and lost to the world because of this fear. Most people live in a minimum performance mode. Eagle Team has no room for people who just want to get by. The dream of this company is for everybody to become a diamond. It's not to have individuals become a diamond. Oh yes.